Hey everybody, happy Friday, welcome to the channel. I hope that you're doing well and that you're safe no matter where you are. Let's get to your comments. I am not your mom, smiley face. No, you're not. Thanks for creating a Patreon. I'll be one of the first members, I guess. Cheers, bro. Hey, Kevin, thanks so much for that comment, man. And to all of you who have signed up for my Patreon account, thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. That Patreon account's really going to help out my channel in terms of being able to grow it, getting new gear in here, and maybe even one day being able to hire someone to edit my videos so that I can produce more of them. I don't really know yet. So with that being said, if you haven't, check out my Patreon. There's a link in the description below. And if you do want to sign up, I do have a couple tiers right now, but I will definitely be adding more to it with more benefits for Patreon members. You know, it's just a work in progress right now. And to those of you who have signed up, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys, and I'm really excited to keep growing this channel and just to add new things to it and kind of see where it takes us. So thank you so much for that comment and allowing me to plug my Patreon account. Again, the link is in the description below, and thanks for your contribution. I can't believe the thing I going to said, but I like more the sound of the pod. I have a G200 and I thinking about one day of those pods. Hey, Jesus, just remember, your opinion is your own opinion, and you don't have to apologize for it. Seriously, I get a lot of comments where people will chastise other people for liking certain things, or, you know, vice versa, apologize for liking certain things, and, you know, it really doesn't matter what you like, because that's what you like, and you don't have to justify that to anyone. You do you, boo. Dude, you talk too much. I know. Let's take a second, though, to do a tutorial on YouTube. You see, down below, there's a little bar with a slider on it, and you can simply move that slider ahead if you don't want to listen to me talking. Pretty simple stuff, man. It would have taken you less time to do that than to comment, but if you hadn't have commented, I wouldn't have had it for this video, so thanks for the comment. Hi, Taylor. How did you learn to play the guitar? Could you recommend a book, a method, an instructional video, or something that worked for you? Thank you. Hey, thank you so much for that comment. I learned how to play guitar by ear mostly in the 90s. And I used to just try and learn the songs that I heard on the radio, you know, like stuff from Nirvana and The Offspring. You gotta keep them separated. Those songs are pretty simple, so I used to play that one front to back. And that's probably where I learned the majority of my guitar playing, is just from learning other people's albums and sitting down and trying to play through them all the way from beginning to end. And as far as instructional videos, I think that like the 80s, early 90s shred videos are like some of the best instructional videos out there. Stuff like Speed Kills by Michelangelo Badio. I can't remember what the video is called, but the Yngwie Malmsteen videos from the late 80s, early 90s. Those videos are gems, man, and if you want to learn some finer points of shredding, that's a really good place to start. I should actually go back and revisit those videos and work on my shred skills myself. Thanks for the comment. Do you ever experience option paralysis when dialing in tones and selecting impulse responses when using a modeler? Hey, Ronnie, great question. So yes, I've definitely had that problem before, and I think it's something that you can really easily fall into if you don't sit down and have a definite plan when you're playing guitar. Like whether you're sitting down to record or just to practice, if you don't have like a definite set structured plan, like I am going to work on sweep picking for 15 minutes and I'm going to work on alternate picking for 15 minutes, or I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work on this song and I need to get out these riffs. If you don't have a structured plan like that and you just sit down and start playing and just start noodling, you can get sucked into that tone quest wormhole pretty quickly. And that's not always a bad thing. I think, you know, a lot of people actually just do that recreationally, like they just like dialing in tones, which I think is totally valid. But if you notice that you're spending an absurd amount of time dialing in tones when you really meant to sit down and practice your guitar or to write something, then definitely just work on your discipline and, you know, structure out the time that you have set aside to do those things, and just stick with something that you like and record the DI. Worst case scenario, you can go back and you can tweak the tone later. Good question, man. Thanks for the comment. Does watching ads help you at all? Also, what counts as a view? Does pausing, rewinding, or starting over hurt the way YouTube pays you? Thank you so much for asking this question. So as far as ad revenue goes on YouTube, what matters is watch time. So if you're pausing and skipping around a video, no, that doesn't necessarily hurt the way ad revenue works unless that is decreasing the total amount of watch time that you would spend. Actually, if you watch something through and then you go back and you watch a part over again, like maybe in a comparison if you want to jump back and forth, and listen to those comparisons, that actually helps me. And as far as watching the ads all the way through, I'm not really sure. I know that probably does increase the ad revenue a little bit, but I don't think it's a whole bunch. But the best thing that you can do if you want to help the channel, aside from joining the Patreon account, is just to tune in and watch my videos and comment and like them, because that tells YouTube that people are engaging with this video and they enjoy it, so in turn, YouTube will show that video to more people. And in turn, if that video gets a lot more views and watch time, I'm sure the ad revenue would be better than if I just had a handful of people who watched ads all the way through. At least I think that's the way it works. I'm not really an expert on this stuff, but I really appreciate the comment, man. Thank you so much. With my tube amps, I always feel like I am going to piss off the neighbors, if that counts. As the owner of a 15-watt Fender tube amp and a 40-watt Marshall, I have to say they've become somewhat redundant in recent times. The faff of recording them versus using a plugin or modeler just doesn't seem worth it these days. Speaking strictly as an amateur, modelers and plugins have come such a long way even in the last 5 years or so. I doubt many people at home could mic an amp up and get it to sound as good as, say, the Neurals. Hey John, thanks for that comment, man. Yeah, I totally agree with this comment. I think that having all of these modelers and, to a greater extent even cabinet IRs that are mic'd up with really awesome microphones in a studio environment and that have a lot of meticulous detail and time put into them really is such a dramatic shortcut for the amateur or even the professional engineer that is, recording guitars. I think that this really bypasses a lot of the work and maybe allows you to focus on some more important things, whatever those things may be. And the other thing that it's really done is it's really leveled the playing field for better or for worse. I remember early in the 2010s, a lot of my friends that were either hobbyist or professional recording engineers were complaining a lot about how bands just want to do it themselves these days. And one of the members will get Pro Tools and Superior Drummer and an Axe Effects and just record the whole band that way. And that's how they put out their demo. And that's probably true, which is why I think you hear a lot of bands that sound so similar, is because they're all essentially using the same stuff to make their albums. And those albums are more or less just representations of the songs. They're not the actual band sitting down and playing and tracking those songs. Just kind of is what it is. But thank you so much for that comment, and yeah, dude, totally agree with you. I guess a prior post via YouTube community announcing an upcoming stream so the subs could set a reminder would be much beneficial. Hey, thank you for this comment. So in regard to my live streams, I'm still learning and still trying to figure out scheduling on it. So I just wanted to give you guys an update in regard to my live streams. This is still a huge learning process for me. I think I've only done 3 live streams so far. And a lot of the stuff that you guys don't see is what goes on in the back end. So not only am I trying to learn all the technical details about how to stream, what software to use, how to set up my camera to do it, how to make sure all the video and the audio is synced correctly so that when you guys watch it, it's not just a jumbled mess of shit. Not only am I learning all that, but I'm trying to learn on the back end how to set up reminders and do promotion and all that stuff as well. So bear with me, I will definitely get there. And just so everyone knows, my plan is to do live streams on Friday evening, maybe around 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I'm not exactly sure yet. So watch out for those. And if you have any ideas for live streams, definitely let me know in the comments below. Thanks for the comment and letting me plug my live stream. About the quarantine riff, does the mix have to be good? I've never recorded before and I'm thinking of making this my first attempt. And do I need a bass or just guitar? Planning on using my 8-string. Hey Aaron, thanks so much for the question. No, the mix does not have to be good. Do your best with what you have. And I think that's part of learning, is just putting stuff out there and getting feedback from other people. And if this is your first attempt, you will definitely get some feedback from me as well as maybe some others in the comments. And, all that feedback can really level up your skills very quickly. So just do what you can, man. And also, thank you so much for reminding me, if you guys want to participate in Quarantine Riff, there is a link in the description below to download the drum tracks. Download the tracks, record your guitars, and send me back an MP3. All of the instructions are in the description below. And we'll do a video here at the end of the month where I will show the submissions and, we'll just have a good time. So Quarantine Riff, check the description below. Thanks for the comment. Next FAQ question, how long have you been playing? Were you self-taught or did you have lessons? Why did you decide on metal? Who were your band influencers to make you start playing? Early Metallica, Maiden, Megadeth? Hey Randy, thanks for the question. So I will just add to what I said earlier about my playing. Sounds really weird to say I've been playing for over 20 years, but I want to say that I started playing guitar when I was 11 or 12, right in there. And the reason that I picked up guitar, as funny as this is actually Aerosmith. The album Get a Grip came out when I was in 4th grade or something, and I remember getting that album and just like obsessing over it. And they were being played on MTV all the time, and you know, they were getting pushed really, really hard by, you know, the mainstream media at that point. And so I got really, really into Aerosmith when I was younger. And probably one of the first songs I learned how to play was an Aerosmith song, although I don't remember it now and probably couldn't play it if I had to. But there you go, yeah, Aerosmith was my gateway band into playing guitar and into rock music in general. And then from there, the bands that really influenced me and made me want to play guitar more, Nirvana was a really, really big one, especially In Utero. And then that led me down the path into like 9 Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson. And then from there, that got me into metal and new metal, you know, Korn, Are You Ready? Limp Bizkit. And this is when I was in high school and the internet existed, but it wasn't like it is today at all. So what I used to do is I used to go buy albums and actually read the thank you liner notes. And then I would go buy those bands' albums. And that's how I found out about System of a Down. And then that led me into Slipknot. And then Slipknot led me into like Death and Black and more extreme metal like Cannibal Corpse and Cradle of Filth. So there you go. That's probably a lot more than you were expecting, but that's like the total trajectory of my progression into metal from a very young age. Thanks so much for that comment, man. I appreciate it. Another thing that I found to affect trem picking is the string gauge. If you have higher gauge strings in a lower tuning, it'll be like picking wet spaghetti. The thicker strings are easier for me to trem because they offer more resistance to attack. Hey, that's an excellent point, and I did not mention that in my last video where I was talking about trem picking. Tension on the strings is super, super important if you want to be able to play faster on those strings. I use a bunch of different string gauges depending on what tuning I'm in, but majority of the time I'm playing in C standard. And these are the strings that I use when I'm playing in C standard to give you an idea of the gauges. I really like having that wound G also, especially for lower tunings. I think it's a lot better than having, you know, a plain steel G string. So tension's really important, and if you're gonna play in a low tuning, you definitely need to compensate by getting thicker strings. Thanks for pointing that out. I completely forgot to mention that. Dumbass. You know, the really funny thing about this comment is that I actually couldn't find this comment on the video. I just saw it in my analytics. So most likely what that means is that they left this comment and then went back and deleted it later, which I think is just hilarious. Imagining someone watching my video and then going, ugh, dumbass. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Delete. Oh, people are funny, dude. We just live in the most strange, interesting, and beautiful time right now. That's all I can say. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, definitely make sure to leave those down below. And if you haven't already, hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.